It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Welcome, hour number 2. Thanks so much for being with us, the intersection of conservative ideas and reality, where we are building a liberty machine. We're so glad that you're with us. So we were talking last hour with Fort Smith attorneys Joey McCutcheon and Matt Bishop about their lawsuit against Preferred Family Health Care. There's been a motion to dismiss. And then we started talking about Ecclesia College, and we started talking about really just generally transparency and how, and I've said this for a while, in the wake of the corruption of Arkansas politicians, we can't really even talk that good or that the issues that I want to talk about, limited government and that sort of thing. Well, how about just honest government? How about transparent government? And so there are some positive steps that are being taken. And not only just, with streaming the Senate and streaming the committees and that sort of thing, but there are positive steps being taken at the local level as well. And I wanted to identify that and highlight that, really. So I want you to welcome, we got Justice of the Peace, Patrick Deakins of Springdale is on the phone. Patrick, it's great to have you back on, sir.
Paul, it's been too long. I'm ready to take another ride on the Liberty Machine.
Yes, yes, sir. It has. It has been way too long. Now, first of all, Patrick, fill everybody in on what you're doing now and why you decided to run for Justice of the Peace in Washington County.
Yeah, Paul, this will be my first term on the quorum court. So I just got started in January and got a couple meetings under my belt. The first one was an organizational meeting, and then last Thursday we had our regular January monthly meeting. And I just saw a lot of challenges that maybe Washington County is going to have over the next couple of years, and some tough decisions are going to have to be made. And I thought it was time to get involved and try to help out as much as I could. Of that process.
Well, one of those has to do with is it a bond issue that's coming up?
Well, it's potentially a bond issue. One of the biggest challenges that Washington County has is that our jail is at capacity. We're going to have to make some sort of decision there on the jail, and so I think Sheriff Hilder has a plan that he wants to see implemented, and it would include a bond issue and quite possibly sales tax increases to pay for that. And so he has that plan, and it's time for us to try to, as a quorum court, look at what we think we could do and try to get something decided there.
I understand. Well,
Nothing's there yet. Nothing's there yet, but it's there. Those ordinances are definitely drafted, and they are sitting there. And so it's time for us to try to, as a quorum court, get in there and roll our sleeves up and see if we can't put a different eye on that approach. So
I saw this opinion piece by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette, a guy by the name of Greg Harton. His headline, Quorum Court, Transparency Vital Later. I read this piece, and for some reason I get the feeling that Greg Harton is, not a fan of yours, Patrick. What do you think?
Well, I think he's definitely come at me with an eye of skepticism, which is fine. I don't, I being new to this process and stuff like that, I understand people need to get a feel for me and understand what my motives are. And so, yeah, the piece was interesting, and to say the least, I think that people, and I think after I read it, I think people are very skeptical of our government. It's probably for these issues that you highlight on your show all the time with corruption and the Ecclesia stuff. And so now, anytime a person comes up with major changes that they want to do, I think people automatically want to assume the worst. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about, you say major change. So what did you do the other night? Like what major changes are you I guess, what is it, how a bill's passed or how a resolution is passed or adopted?
Yeah, in the quorum court, we handle ordinances.
Ordinances. So that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what my ordinance did, the ordinance that I supported and got passed, was I want us to, as justices of the peace, when we bring ordinances or legislation to the quorum court, I want those ordinances to be put on the agenda and made public as much time in advance as we can, so that people can see them. What had been happening and what had started to become too customary in my mind is that justices or other people would bring these ordinances to us as a quorum court at the very meeting that we were being asked to decide upon these ordinances.
Wow.
So you can understand that that's extremely unfair to put any justice into that position to try to deliberate and make a great decision on something that might have a huge impact for Washington County. And so, to me, my legislation I thought was pretty simple, straightforward, but once again, sometimes I think people can be very skeptical. The other thing I really would like for all of our ordinances to do is go through, we will have 4 standing committees in this term, Budget and Finance, Jails and Law Enforcement, County Services, and Personnel. And I think that any of the ordinances should first have to go to one of those 4 standing committees to be reviewed and looked at. Because, it's my thought that those justices that serve on those committees will have the expertise and the knowledge to address those specific ordinances.
So this was your ordinance, and you got this passed last week?
Yeah, we did it.
Wow. And
I think that was probably, that's Mr. Harton's big criticism is that, ordinances, unless you suspend the rules, have to have 3 readings. And so, just in the interest of time and me wanting to get these committees going and get on the right track from the very start, I suspended the 3 readings, and I had the votes to get that ordinance passed all last Thursday night. So yeah, that's new for us. We're going to operate differently.
And I think that's great from now on. But you use the old rules in order to get the new rules in place, and that's the criticism. What What other system are you supposed to operate under?
I don't know.
It was just a baseless criticism. You could just tell that it was a contrived. Mr. Harton here, just contrived outrage at somebody who's coming in and trying to, really slow the process down. Sounds like if you have to now go through a committee, that's a good thing.
Correct. Yes, and like I'm saying, especially with some of these jail issues and stuff, we're going to have a lot of budgetary issues in Washington County and some things that we want to decide on. So yeah, I'm just trying to slow the process down, make sure everybody's on the same page and has as much information. I guess the only criticism, yes, you can have is that I utilized our broken system to fix itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was the only goal there.
I think that's genius. What about your background? No, go ahead. Finish. Well, let me ask you this. Your background as a CPA, how does that help you as a justice of the peace?
Well, I think it gives me a lot more perspective when I'm looking at numbers, on a spreadsheet. To many people that can be, if nothing else, kind of boring. But sometimes I can see those numbers and I can look at them and glean a little bit more, even off just an initial look, than maybe some other people who don't work around that type of stuff every day. And so also I look at things where I want all of our spending to be sustainable. Not really sure that we're there with Washington County's budget, that we could do this year after year after year of growing this budget. And so that's the other thing. I want to also have a long-term look on some of this budget, make sure that, we're not just the budget's not growing too fast, that we have the discipline, the financial fiscal discipline to make Washington County great for years and years and years to come. And that's really what's driving me right now.
So do you think, you say the budget is continuing to grow. Is that because tax revenue is up? And you were talking earlier that there is some talk about raising taxes here or there. That to me would make me as a conservative kind of upset.
Well, absolutely, and let's think about it. In my mind, the county tax-based revenue ought to adjust itself as property improvements come in. You're getting more development. That there's automatic adjustments in that if we think like that. And the same thing is true of the sales taxes. People want to say, well, we need to grow the budget because there's more people in this area. They moved in, and I can understand all that to a very good point. But at the same time, I don't understand the tax increase side of it. Why do we need to keep increasing the tax rate? Why can we not just grow within our own means, in our own limits, if that makes sense? So, yeah, that's what's concerning me right now. Is does it make sense? Are we doing everything as efficiently as we can? Is the county doing things that maybe the government shouldn't be doing at all? Or all those things I think are on the table. I think we've got a great court right now. There's a lot of sharp people on that. I think there's a lot of bipartisanship right now to help work with each other, and so I think we are very motivated to just look at the county from top to bottom and see what we think about all these issues and these services that we're providing.
Were your colleagues they were pleased with this idea to change the way an ordinance is passed?
Yeah, I think everybody sees the good in this and sees the basis for why we need to make this change because they're just as frustrated frustrated as anybody, if something gets brought to us at the last minute, and like I'm saying, we have to sit there and make a decision on it. So, I mean, I think they can see that this was needed. This was a good change. This is for positive, and it was just for transparency, Paul, just trying to help people out and let the public know more about what their government's doing at any given time.
That's fantastic. And that's why I want to have you on, Patrick, because we have to have transparency at all levels of government, and maybe there's some other counties listening and they want to do something similar, or maybe they have ideas. I just think it's fantastic. The process is really, you've made it more deliberative. You're not going to have a growth in government, overnight. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to go through a process, and I think that's the way it should be. And I really appreciate you, stepping up and running and trying to, really sounds like bring a new day to the Washington County Quorum Court.
Yep, we're changing the way we're going to do things, Paul, and it's just for the people. And I'm honored that the people of District 5 in Washington County put me in this position. I hope to serve them with integrity and hard work and do everything that I said I was going to do, which is work really, really hard for the people of Washington County.
All right, Patrick Deakins, best of luck to you, sir. Keep us posted.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, thank you.